Most of the meaningful goals that we want to achieve in life and in the new year as well, have you ever noticed that we don't have instruction manuals? Kind of like if you buy a new piece of furniture, or if you purchase an electronic item that's very complicated, it comes with an instruction manual so that you know exactly how to use that item, or you know exactly how to use it to achieve the goal you want to achieve with it. But here's the thing in life, our most meaningful goals that we want to achieve, our most meaningful goals that we want to be able to perform on, they don't come with instruction manuals. But what if instead of instruction manuals, there are models of operation that we can be familiar with so that we can increase our potential? So if that's you and you have some meaningful goals that are consistently part of your New Year's resolution, or some goals that are consistently on the forefront of your mind, and you're committed to achieving these goals and you're serious about how do I do that because it means a lot to me. If that is you, then this is the right video for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 focal points on how you can increase your capacity so that you can achieve your most meaningful goals this year, next year, and every single year moving forward. So let's take a walk in snowy Vancouver and let's go. How do you become more capable? Now, in order for us, before we can achieve anything we desire in life, we must first understand what exactly it is we want to acquire. And in this case, the video that I'm talking about right now is how to increase your capability, your capacity. So what exactly does that mean? Your capacity. When it comes to being more capable, right? The word capable means to hold energy, to be able to hold an ability to perform a specific task. Because if you look at that, the word capacitor is derived from the word capable. And what exactly is a capacitor? A capacitor is a device, it's part of an electrical circuit that holds energy, and it is a completely invaluable, you can't get rid of it. It's the most important part of an electrical circuit. The capacitor is there to hold the energy so that it can complete the circuit and carry out what that circuit was designed for. Now, what does this have to apply to you? You're probably wondering, well, this is not a course in mechanical engineering or electrical engineering. What does this have to do with you? Right? Each and every one of you are capacitors, which means that you have the ability to hold that energy to complete the circuit that you were designed for, to be able to achieve that which is your most meaningful goal. So here's the thing though, you must hold that energy. You must hold that ability. So that's what I want to share with you in terms of 3 focal points on how you can step up into your ability to hold that energy to carry out that task. So I want to hear from you. I want comment below. What ahas, what takeaways have you received so far with respects to what capacity exactly means? And by the way, if you haven't done so already, remember to ring that bell, subscribe to my channel so that you can receive notifications every time I release a new video. So the 3 focal points that when you reflect upon them, now notice what I'm saying here, these 3 focal points, when you reflect upon them and you start to implement them in your life, in your career path, this is what's going to help you to increase your capacity so that you can be the capacitor, the indispensable capacitor in the circuit that you were designed for to achieve that which you were designed for, right? So focal point number 1 is receptive communication. Receptive communication. So what does that mean? You see, words are the spoken words that we are saying, and words create your world. Words create your experiences in life, and words are also energy. I talked about capacitors being in electrical circuit. Words are energy, right? You cannot think about a thing unless you had a word for that thing. You cannot solve a problem unless you had a word to articulate the problem. Unless you had words to articulate the consequences of that problem, you cannot solve the problem. Have you ever noticed that when you have an idea or when you have a perspective inside your head, it's so clear to you, in other words, intuitively, it's very clear to you, and somehow you struggle with finding the words to say, to communicate it to someone else. But it's important to have the words to communicate it, to articulate it to someone else, because if you don't, they won't know that you have the idea. You won't be able to have opportunities to solve particular problems and therefore to get paid your worth. And have you also noticed that in a relationship, any relationship in life, that you cannot, if you don't have the words to talk about issues, if you don't have the words to articulate problems, it's not possible to work together with someone else on solving those problems. So that's why receptive communication is all about being able to effectively communicate, articulate what is this idea that I have? What is the exact problem that is between us? What are the consequences if these problems aren't solved, if we don't find a resolution for those problems? Your ability to be able to communicate that will be directly responsible for the experience, the outcome you can achieve, and therefore will be directly proportional to developing you and your capacitance, your ability to have the capacity to solve that problem as well. Right? There are languages in the world that don't have certain words for things. For example, in English, we can talk about earning money. We can also talk about winning money. You can earn money, you can win money, but earning money is a very different thing compared to winning money. But there are languages, for example, in French. If you want to talk about earning money, in French, it's actually the word for winning money, gagner argent. In French, to earn money means to win it. Whereas in the Hebrew language, it's the exact opposite. There is no word in the Hebrew language to win money. They only have words to earn money, to build wealth. Right? So language creates our experiences of life, and they are energy. So if you're listening to this and you're getting some breakthroughs, but you want to be able to take this to the higher level, you want to know exactly, how do I implement this in my life? How do I develop my skills to be able to receptively communicate? If that is you and you feel that this is your year to become a masterful communicator, to finally have the articulation you desire, then I look forward to working with you. I have a coaching program, an executive level coaching program that helps people do exactly what I described here. So if you're serious about having my help as your coach and your mentor to achieve these skills for yourself, then I invite you to look below this video, in the description below this video. The first link is a link for you to book a discovery call with me and my team to explore whether or not this is going to be the right fit for both of us. And if I can genuinely help you with what you're looking for, what you're trying to achieve. This is for you only if you are serious about having this result in your life. By the way, it is not for you if you are just exploring it, if you're not ready to commit or invest in your own growth, then it's not for you. And it's not for you if you're a beginning in your career, or if you're still a student or a recent graduate, this is not for you. Only if you are serious about making this investment in yourself and in your growth, and you know that you're worth it, then I look forward to talking to you and seeing you on the other side. Focal point number 2 is reflective awareness. This is where you got to realize that everything in the world around you, your environment around you, in your immediate and second degree space, everything around you is giving you feedback so that you can become the most authentic version of you and have your most inspired life. It is all of it. All of the feedback you're getting is a feedback loop to help you to be on your most inspired path, to become the truest version of you, the biggest and best version of you. But oftentimes we hesitate to take that step to the next level. We hesitate. It could be because we hear this feedback loop and it makes us feel this negativity. It makes us feel a lot of guilt or shame of of a version of ourselves that we are not yet. But when we come across and when we meet somebody else who is exactly that person that we know we could have been, it's very painful. It's very hard to take in when we know we could have, when we know we could have done more, we can do more, but somehow we didn't because it was too scary or too risky or too unknown. And yet we meet somebody who is exactly that version of ourselves that we could have been. It is said that hell on earth is meeting the person that we could have been, but we didn't become that person. Right? So this skill of reflective awareness is one of the most important things you can learn for yourself, that you can develop for yourself, so that you can be your authentic self and still be on your most inspired life, your most inspired path. It means being able to know that there's a whole world out there that you don't know about. The domain of knowledge where you don't even know what you don't know. Right? You know what you know. And maybe there are aspects where you know that you don't know something, but there's an even bigger space out there where you don't even know what you don't know. And it's that space of knowledge that is where your opportunities are. That is where your most inspired career path is built upon that foundation of, I don't know what I don't know, but what don't I know? What could it possibly be? And that's what allows you to practice and be effective at that reflective awareness so that you can take in the feedback system from the world around you and rise up to your fullest potential. Right, so that is step number 2, reflective awareness. And always, at every step, I want to hear from you. So comment below. What did you hear What did you hear when you heard the first step, receptive communication? Second focal point is reflective awareness. What did you hear? I want to hear from you, so comment below. To summarize, focal point number 1 was receptive communication. Focal point number 2 is reflective awareness. And focal point number 3 is responsive action. Right? We all hear this all over the internet. Everybody is saying you got to take action on it. You got to act fast. You have to do something about it, right? And this is very profound. I want to go a little bit deeper into this because we hear this, but why is it that we still don't have the change we want to see, right? Information alone, there are people, gurus, podcast hosts, coaches all over YouTube, all over the internet that tell us we've got to take action on it. Well, how is it that all of those speakers, it's still not causing us to take the action we know we need to take? Because first of all, taking responsive action means that we must know what specific action we need to take. And it's very common for us to fill our days with actions, right? It feels like we're being busy and productive because we're taking a lot of actions, but the actions we're taking are distractions rather than responsive action. So that's the first problem that we could have, is that not knowing exactly what are the high priority actions to take. The second most common problem that we can have when we want to take responsive action is to how do we initiate that action and sustain it over time? Because it's not enough just to take action once or this week, but we must take consistent action, responsive action, so that whenever we do take action down a certain path, there will be challenges along the way. There will be hardships. There will be feedback that might make us feel like we're not on the right path. So how do we respond to those things in our action? That's what it means by responsive action. Okay, so once again, I want to hear from you. Comment below. What did you hear me say? It's really important that if you're not sure what specific action to take, or if you've been taking action and somehow there are these external factors, there are these challenges, and there are these risks that come along the way, and somehow in your fullest capacity right now, you don't know how to overcome it, this is where you need to reach out for help. Reach out to somebody that you resonate with, who's able to understand the problems that you are facing, who is able to articulate exactly what you're going through right now, because chances are they understand it and they've gone through it themselves and they have the success that you desire in your life. Reach out to those people for help. And if that is me, then I showed you earlier how you can click the link below and reach out to help from me. Okay, so once again, I want to hear from you. Comment below, what are your biggest takeaways from these 3 vocal points on how to increase your capacity? And I look forward to hanging out with you again in my next video.